Okay, let's do it. Are you ready to talk about the rise of Skywalker, aka the end of an era?
I'm ready.
Okay. Um I don't know how to talk about this movie. I think I'm going to be working through some stuff like therapy a little bit here because at the end of the day, there's things I really like in this movie, but there are so many things I really fucking hate. And I don't know which one outweighs the other.
I know which one outweighs the other for me because there's
You
not
loved it,
that
didn't
much
you?
I really like.
Okay. So right when I got out of the theater, I made a tweet that said Rise of Skywalker 2 out of 5 because I was thinking this is probably a 4 out of 10. I was being a bit generous. I think it's probably more like a 3, honestly, but I don't think it's like terrible. So for like I was going to originally say around maybe a 5 out of 10. Like I think it's mediocre, but I think it's less than mediocre the more I thought about it. So as a
It's the worst of the Disney Star Wars movies.
Oh, fuck no. Well, okay, this is my thesis statement, actually. I thought about this, okay, while I waited for you to come on.
Sure.
The Rian Johnson movie, episode 8, I thought did interesting ideas, but I hated it. And I thought this movie was kind of fun, but fucking devoid of life. Does that make sense?
I hate this movie because it's a response movie. It has no ideas of its own. It's fucking horseshit. Like,
but it's weird because the responses are, no, I'm going to hug my action figures. Like it's so hard going back to like
too much of this
stuff.
movie is like someone reading a Wikipedia entry to you because of like the backstory they're trying to backfill by telling you, and characters telling you shit is like exactly what Star Wars isn't. Star Wars is where you just can show. Like the best
There's
Star Wars
so
movies,
many
you
of
don't
that.
have to fucking like know what anyone's saying. You just like understand it because of the visuals on the screen. Like even Abrams like at least got that part right in The Force Awakens.
Sure.
And
yeah.
It's so fucking this is overwritten and it's so fucking annoying.
Okay.
Written.
So
the writing is incredibly annoying.
I have to start this off with the scroll at the very beginning felt like the dumbest writing I've ever seen. Maybe. It literally starts with "the dead speak!" ! Like,
yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, look, the thing is, Star Wars is dumb. So just saying stuff in this is dumb is not. It's not quite getting there because it's not just that it's dumb. It's
no,
that
but it's
dumb
bad.
And bad.
Yeah, no,
it's that it's bad. Whereas like The Mandalorian has plenty of stuff that's dumb, but it's good.
Sure.
Like there's definitely a difference. And just saying it's dumb isn't enough. Because like of course this movie's dumb. It's Star Wars. Star Wars is dumb. That's not enough. It doesn't get you to what's wrong with this movie.
So I knew we were going to be in trouble because that opening crawl is like legitimately some of the worst writing I've ever seen in an opening crawl, like ever for these movies. Sorry, go on.
So this movie is it's like it's like trying to do in media res, I guess, with like like the thing of Star Wars is like there's stuff has happened in between the movies that's like you're kind of jumping into it. But we're kind of not jumping into it. It's just like telling you the premise of what's gonna happen before anything's happened. Like Palpatine's back.
Also,
Palpatine's back.
Here's a drinking game for everybody going to see this movie. Take a drink anytime a character says, "Then it'll all be for nothing," or "all the sacrifices will be for nothing," because that happens every time a character has a thing to do. Every single time. It's crazy. It's like they don't like realize that the audience might be able to have some thought processes, so they have to feed that line to you over and over. There are so many things I really don't like about this thing. I also feel, and maybe this is just me, this feels like not only like I think a response was a good way to put it, but I also think that JJ put in ideas that he wanted to do, he wished were in episode 8 and 9. Like it feels like he tried to almost maybe cram a full movie's worth in exposition because he didn't have that movie.
He's trying to backfill in stuff he wishes had been set up.
Yeah, totally.
But the way he crams it in is much worse than whatever he could have worked with it without it being there. Like it fucks up the movie the way he like jams it in there.
It's crazy. It's like, and it's hard to explain without like.
And none of it's worth it. Like the only piece of backstory that's neat is like the Leia Luke training scene.
That was
like kind of cool.
And even that was ruined because of CG Leia. Looked so weird.
Well, CG Luke looks like fucking A New Hope Luke, not Return of the Jedi Luke.
It's weird. Like they got the wrong Luke.
Mark Hamill's face looked different at that time. What are you doing?
It's so fucking weird. But yeah, I mean, just the idea of them trading and like whatever is really, really cool. Honestly, the stuff with like Leia and Luke in general in this, I thought were kind of neat. And it's first of all, it's fucking heartbreak. It was heartbreaking to see Leia, like, because you know Carrie Fisher dead. So to like,
it was also for me annoying because they're so clearly editing around whatever dialogue they had for her, and those scenes are fucking rough.
Yeah. And also you can tell she's like, had a hard life. I forgot like her speech is kind of muddled a lot.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
Like the editing, like right from the jump, like it's really bad.
So I'm actually trying to remember what the start is. It's him finding the like beacon to find the Sith home planet, right? Was that the very beginning?
No, they like Rey isn't on the ship. They fly up to that place to get the message, and they get the message from the spy that tells them that Palpatine's alive.
Oh,
and then they they get this intel, and like everything's happy, and then like the next scene is John Boyega saying bad news, and it's like what do you mean bad? What are you fucking talking about? It's just like a weird, like just edited fucking terribly.
Yeah no, there's some weird shit going on. Also there's okay, so we're gonna be jumping around quite a bit because I do remember parts and whatever, but I don't remember what order they're shown in general. Sure. There you can tell JJ wanted episode 8 so fucking bad because there's a point where they are getting away from some New Order douchebags and they are hyper jumping or whatever, like light speeding away into different areas. And you can tell these are probably all areas he wanted to visit at some point because they're all very different looking, and like they look like, I don't know, really weird and there's a lot of fan service, by the way. We'll get to that specifics
fan service in
as we
Star
go.
Wars movie. Yeah.
Oh no, way more than necessary though. Holy shit.
I mean, yes, you're not wrong. God damn.
But like they're just jumping, but there's like 5 or 6 different, like completely different planet looking areas, and it's just like you can tell that he wanted to like visit these places or something. Like he wanted an excuse to throw these in because it kind of looked weird. There's so many bad things to talk about. I want to talk about a little bit of the good stuff first, though, before we keep shitting on it. Okay. I still really like the performances from the main characters. Like, I think they have good chemistry together when they're together.
No, the reason I don't actually hate this movie is because I like those characters so much. They carried it as a viewing experience for me that I still had an okay time, even though I'm going to be tearing this movie apart. Like, I had an okay time just because I like those characters so much, and just seeing them have adventures, it makes me happy. I just like it.
Like Poe and Finn being together and the banter and stuff, they work so well together. Daisy Ridley is, of course, as usual, just absolutely like stunning anytime she's doing stuff. The problem I have with her, though, is if people were complaining about her being a Mary Sue before, this is the most Mary Sue shit I've ever seen in my life. Literally every situation, she had a new way to like get through it every time.
But it's all explained now because she's Palpatine's granddaughter, so it's all explained.
And you can, you can tell that killed Abrams because he made it so she couldn't be a Skywalker officially in episode 8. So he had to like work it in somehow. What better he fucking didn't want it to be a Palpatine.
Now it's not about the one family that matters. Now it's about the two families that matter.
Right. But I don't think he would have chosen Palpatine. I think he wanted her to be a Skywalker.
It was definitely forced into can't use that family. Gotta use the other one.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. I will say though,
Palpatine's fucking Phyrexian fucking arm, like the fucking thing that's his crane.
Oh yeah, that's holding him together.
That's like it's creepy, and I like his like choir of hooded minions that are just around, like he's fucking Sephiroth.
I need to know because I don't remember. Did she have the Force healing power before, or is that this movie exclusive?
I think that's this movie exclusive.
I think so too. And I think maybe if there was any tie to the Mandalorian, it's the fact that maybe the Mandalorian like showed that exists or could exist.
And that's like the only tie.
It's the only tie as far as I can tell for sure. That is like overpowered seems like not a big enough term for how overpowered that shit is. Oh, I'm just giving some of my life force to heal the dude I just killed. Like, oh.
My favorite is when Palpatine's fingers start regrowing.
That's pretty good.
Luke could have used some of that.
No kidding. Jesus Christ.
Or Vader.
I do, at the end of the day, I still kind of do, like, even though she's the most Mary of Sues, I do still like this idea that she is extraordinarily strong and like the last like bastion of the Force or whatever, essentially. Like she is so strong in it that it's like unlike anything anybody's seen before. I still like that idea.
I mean, she's not Palpatine. Palpatine's lightning powers are like he shoots them into the sky. He's way stronger.
I mean, until she had a lightsaber though. Apparently. And this is also the problem I had is that
I mean, just like Mace Windu.
There's so many times in this movie where they set up a rule and then it breaks like right away. It's I don't know. That one drove me nuts because they spend a lot of time. They spend a lot of time with Rey kind of having some, I will say, decently choreographed fights with Kylo, with Ben or whatever you want to call him, Kylo Ren. Mm-hmm. The final confrontation with Palpatine just literally being her holding the swords together and then pushing is so lame. After they showed his ultimate power garbage going on, like.
The twist of that where she pulls out the other lightsaber and makes a cross.
It's so dumb.
So fucking bad.
It's so dumb.
It just looks dumb. It just looks bad. Like,
it looks so bad.
I really hate that.
So, you know what would have been cool? If she force lightninged him. But like a Jedi force lightning.
There are plenty of other ways that could have been cooler. There's so many other ways you could do little things to this movie to make it better.
Or like even what if she took like the complete pacifist approach or whatever? He's like shocking everything up in the sky. What if she kind of Neo'd it, just like stood up and went like no, put out her hand, and then it just stopped, and like he's like looking at her in terror or something.
Yeah. Well, And like the way she kills him is she kills him, which like isn't really against his setup of strike me down, you kill me, and then I become you or whatever.
Right.
Like
You like
she still just
suck all the
kills him.
souls of the Sith into you or some
Yeah.
bullshit. Yeah.
Like any kind of thing where it's like, no, you're a small, tiny man, and I'm way stronger than you. I can strike you down and you'll be a part of me, but you're also fucking nothing. Like something like anything like that would have been better than
Yeah.
fucking nothing.
Also, okay, I'm gonna show my hand a little bit. I really, really like the trope of a group. Okay, this started with Sailor Moon, so give me a second. Where the Sailor Scouts go into Queen Beryl's like castle or whatever, right? And as they're going through, they're getting fucking offed by all these traps and like dangerous shit going on. And then at the very end, I like her as the princess or whatever is basically banishing Beryl to the nether realm, and then like the spirit of her friends are there holding like the wand with her, and that shit gets me every fucking time. Why couldn't they do a visual representation of the Jedi Order like standing behind her or like doing something to help her? Why is it just voices? That drove me fucking crazy. Do you know how cool it would be if it like even CG, if it was just like one of the Jedis is like helping her up, another one's like moving her out of the way, like just showing like a physical representation of her like winning the fight or something would have been fucking dope. But instead it's just like a bunch of voices, and then of course Yoda's in there because of course he is. And they're all just like, you're not alone, we're with you.
Jackson's in there.
Samuel L. Jackson's in there. Yeah, they're all in there.
She got Mace Windu at her back, baby.
Yeah, the most powerful of all Jedi.
I mean, the one who knew how to block Force lightning with lightsaber.
Yeah, that's where she learned it in that moment. She plugged into the Jedi Matrix and she knew how to block Force lightning. I don't know, man. There's so many things. Holy shit. There's so many things that like are cool, but shy of amazing, and that's frustrating, I think is probably the way I would put it. I'm trying to think of some other. There's a lot of just kind of nothing in this too. I will say that unlike episode 8, I think every time they transition to another scene, I thought those scenes were at least like relevant somehow, and like they build properly. So like they didn't get too artsy with it, and I kind of like that. I don't like the over artsy bullshit that Rian Johnson went for. I kind of like the more standard fanboy approach that J.J. Abrams does, because this is Star Wars. At the end of the day, I just kind of want it to be a cohesive thing with cool shit happening. And unfortunately, the cool shit was lacking in a lot of parts, so that's a big problem. But it seemed cohesive enough that I was like, all right, this is fine. Every time they...
I didn't feel that way at all, but...
You didn't? Okay.
I didn't feel this because cohesive. I felt like it was just cutting a lot. Like, edits were... It was just cutting a shit ton because whatever footage they had clearly wasn't like what they were using or whatever. I don't know. And like Star Wars has like a slower pace to it to me when it's good. There's like you want to be looking at stuff and sort of like spend time in places, and then there are those slide wipes to like you're gently moving into the next thing, and this is fucking cut.
There's a lot of stuff that he's fitting in to the runtime. Again, you know he wanted that second movie, or the movie in between. He wanted the series, and like,
well, he wasn't. He was. I mean, when he was only going to have the first one, he only got this one because they fucking hired Colin Trevorrow to direct this one, and then it turned out that he was fucking Colin Trevorrow, and they had to fucking scramble and pay JJ to come back.
Man, what would that movie have been?
I mean, that movie would also have been bad.
I think that might have been worse somehow. What would that have been?
I don't fucking know. I have no idea.
The Book of Henry
would have been it would have been Palpatine's book.
That might have actually been better.
It would just be like that one Harry Potter book where Harry Potter has this book of this kid he likes, and then it turns out it was Voldemort the whole time. It'd
Oh
just be like that. Ray would
no.
get a book and she would be reading it and be like, "Oh man, all this good advice. Oh wait, this part's about how to vivisect someone." Oh, it turns out Palpatine wrote this book and his spirit haunts it.
That might have been
I don't know.
better.
That'd be
That might
J.K.
have been
Rowling's
great.
Star Wars.
Oh my god. Yeah, she's been in the news recently, so
Everyone
Jesus.
would love that.
Everybody would absolutely love that for sure. It was nice to see Billy D as Lando again. It just was. And him at the helm of the Millennium Falcon with Chewbacca was nice, even though he's really old. He is like, I think he might have aged the least gracefully out of a bunch. Actually, no, Leia definitely aged the least graceful out of all of them. But it's nice to see him again. That was kind of fun.
I like that one shot we got of Wedge. That was good.
Yeah, that was pretty good. It's kind of weird how at the very end he's talking to that other stormtrooper, like the Stray or whatever that they meet up with, that hangs out with Finn to do a bunch of stuff and as the ground team. And he's like, "Where are you from?" or whatever, and she's like, "I don't know." He's like, "Well, let's find out." It's like, okay, well, obviously she's going to be the next character in the series of movies or whatever, or a character, because that seemed real heavy-handed.
They just had to have all the black characters get to know each other.
So I'm glad you said it. It actually kind of felt like that. It actually kind of felt like, "Yo, Finn, I know you like Rose. She's not your type, though, you know?" It's like, oh, oof. It kind of felt that way.
It's not a great look.
Also,
it's not a great look, guys.
As somebody who, like, Rose's character never mattered, but I liked her. They cut her out pretty hard in this. They Jar Jarred her, and I don't know that that's necessary. That's all I'm saying.
She had more lines than Jar Jar in episode 2.
Well, to be fair, Jar Jar. Of course she did.
I mean, Jar Jar was very talkative character, and then suddenly just
it was all part of the plan, since he was the Dark Lord behind Sidious the whole time. Yeah, so makes sense.
We're gonna have to talk about my Sidious thing at some point, actually.
About Darth Sidious? Well,
so one of the things with the prequels is, like, part of the reason the Darth Jar Jar thing works.
Yeah.
Or is an argument you can make, is because literally everything in those prequels is Palpatine did it.
Yeah.
Like, he's the only character with agency.
Yeah.
And Jar Jar is, like, explicitly a character with no agency. Like, he just fucking stumbles his way into doing things. Like, nothing is his volition.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he does things that benefit Palpatine ultimately. So it's very easy to say, oh, the dark side of the Force manipulated that to happen, clearly. So the dark side of the Force manipulated all of that.
Sure.
So you can really easily round it into, oh, he's a Sith Lord, or even just Palpatine manipulated him the whole way. He is from the same planet.
Yeah.
But you can also take that route into manipulating to say, if you're going to go all the way, the deep fan theory that Palpatine created Darth Vader. That he created Anakin, that's how that happened. So he's also Darth Vader's father. So also...
Oh, you're saying he's the one that immaculately conceived him out of the Force?
I'm just saying, the important thing about the end of this movie is we got back to an incest kiss.
We got back to what? You cut out for 2 seconds there.
An incest kiss.
I know, kind of, right? Like, kind of.
Like, the fuck?
Also, maybe this is just me. I really didn't want to think about fucking Sidious having kids and, like, offspring. There's something about that was so gross to me.
Dude is hanging out in velvet suits all the time. If he is not getting it...
I guess so, right?
Look, Sheev fucks. That's the important lesson. You can definitely say Sheev fucks after this movie. They didn't call him
Sure.
Sheev enough in this movie. Also,
True.
they didn't use his name. They practically you have multiple Palpatines running around. Who are you, who am I supposed to know you're referring to? Use his first name.
It's a good point. Sheev. Say my name. Yeah. Did you ever hear of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
I did actually.
Because
I've heard that story.
Because that story like kind of comes almost into effect here with these fucking characters being able to heal each other from death. That shit's so
Apparently,
dumb.
it's pretty easy.
Apparently. And yet nobody can do it. Yeah. Oh fuck. Okay, we have to talk about this weird change of heart where fucking Leia had the power to transmit herself across space-time, as most Jedi or those trained in the Force apparently do now. This isn't a thing that we knew until last episode.
But, it's fine.
But whatever. And her just being like, yo, it's okay, son. I mean, you're my son. It's okay. He's like, oh, shit, I'm not Kylo anymore. And because she said, like, Kylo's dead. You're Ben. And
also,
he's like, I'm Ben. Yeah, and he got stabbed. But
she stabbed the evil right out of him. It was right there in his abdomen.
All I'm saying is that people complained.
It was a little knot.
People complained about Anakin's 180 to the dark side. Why are I hope people are complaining about the 180 to the light side that Kylo did, where he instantly got rid of all his anger somehow and became a normal character. Instantly.
Look, it was he got to vent. He had a vent installed in his abdomen, and all the anger flew out of it.
Oh, that was why the helmet was there. It was just venting the hot air in his giant balloon head.
Yeah.
Okay. This makes sense now. That change of heart is ridiculous, not built up to at all, and kind of, I think the real funny part about it is he throws away his lightsaber, goes unarmed to the homeworld of the Sith, gets the shit kicked out of him until Rey saves him.
I like that he looks like he showed up in like a sweatshirt and sweatpants.
Like he just got from the gym. Yeah, like he just got out of the gym.
It's fucking weird.
It's really fucking weird. So he gets the shit kicked out of him until Rey saves him by instantly transmitting objects to him, because they've been able to do that for a few episodes now. I never understood how, but I mean that's canon, so whatever. She did that
thing that happened, and they just amp it up to 11 here.
Yeah, where it literally happens, and it's not just like a representation of where they are in the world. It's literally a thing they can grab and use.
Yep.
And then like he fights them all and kills them or whatever. And then she goes up to with her and then gets fucking owned. He basically just goes in there to give his life force to Palpatine. Like, good job.
He goes in there to get knocked down a hole so that he can climb out of it, because it's the rise of Skywalker. Because he climbs out of a hole.
I mean,
just like the Dark Knight Rises.
Don't think that I didn't have that thought that he literally is going to rise out of that hole. And I mean, at least it wasn't in the way I thought he would, where I thought he might fly out of it. So that's good. At least he crawled out like the little bitch he is. But yeah, I don't know. There's something weird about, it's almost like a weird backstab to, I guess, JJ himself, or like the people who made the first Force Awakens, because it's like they killed off Snoke last episode without like any care at all. And in this, they kind of throw Kylo away like garbage. He's like, no, he doesn't matter anymore. Now this is important. Palpatine is back. It's weird.
I mean, the reason I was cool with the Snoke thing, because Kylo was way more compelling villain, and they fucking waste him here. Like, it's fucking bad. Like,
it's
they just
weird.
Don't do anything with him.
Totally. He doesn't have a slow redemption arc.
I don't think this is Palpatine at his best either. Like, because he's just a fucking dark evil in a hole. He's not
Yeah.
manipulating politics at all, which is part of like the power of Palpatine. Like
Yeah.
his like the way he could control things from a distance, not like literally shooting lasers into space.
Yeah.
Like just being the evilest.
Yeah. No, it's fucked. It's so weird. It's so weird how they did this. I always liked the hero redemption story also. So like I was kind of looking for like I think we all kind of knew Kylo would have a turn of heart at some point or something would happen cuz they don't he had a bad guy name, but we also knew his real name as Ben Solo and they don't give a real name to a bad guy. You know? Like he's going to have a redemption.
Sheev is a real name. Come on.
Sheev is not a real name. That is a sound people make when they're grabbing a knife out of the drawer. That is not a name. So like we knew he'd have a redemption arc at some point probably. And I was kind of looking forward to it because I'm a sucker for a good tropey redemption arc. His redemption arc is literally his mom talked to him in his head and he started crying about it. It's real dumb.
Also, after he got stabbed. Well, right before he got stabbed at the same time. So, and he got stabbed because of it. She distracted him so that he could get stabbed.
And then she said, "I'm sorry," and healed him and then ran away. Like most of my dates, frankly. So I understand his pain in that situation. But
he just he felt penetration and he was a changed man.
All I'm saying, right, is if you're going to go to the home planet of the most malevolent race of people and most powerful like villain of all time in the universe, maybe don't throw away your lightsaber. Like, it's a sword. Maybe don't throw away your weapon. Maybe bring it. I don't know. It seemed weird that he didn't.
No, man, he brought a gun. Guns are way better.
He did bring a gun. Yep, that's true. I'm trying to think of like if there's anything else about him specifically. I still really, really like. So one of the things that I think the prequel trilogy gets raked over the coals for, and rightfully so, is all of the lightsaber fighting feels very floaty and fruity in a way where they're just kind of like moving around really fast to like make it look like a disco rather than like make it look like two swordsmen trying to kill each other or like try to survive.
And he doesn't feel like there are stakes.
And this sequel trilogy has always done a good job of that. I think when there's a lightsaber fight, it feels like there's an anger on one side and the other person either just trying to survive or retaliating as well. Like it feels good when seeing Rey and Kylo clash. Like when she gets mad and stuff and they're really fighting, she's kind of scary and it's kind of fucking dope. The moment that like, okay, we have to talk about the scene with the transport ship and all of a sudden Rey's able to grab ships out of the air with the Force. Because again, Mary Sue situation, it doesn't faze me that much because I play video games and they've done that in video games before.
Yeah. And I mean, like when Yoda explains it to Luke, it's like the size doesn't matter, theoretically.
Sure. Like, right. I mean, that's what, again, most of my exes said. It doesn't matter. It's how you use it for sure. So she is pulling a fucking stormtrooper transport ship out of the air. And then Kylo comes. This is a thing about Star Wars, by the way, that I've always had a problem with. So bear with me. Kylo comes and he starts Force doing whatever. It looks really fucking stupid in these movies when there's Force battles because it reminds me of two nerds holding their hands out, closing their eyes really hard and pretending that they're having a Force battle and like neither one's winning because like you can't see the Force. That's what this looks like. And the like music starts like swelling and it looks fucking stupid and ridiculous to me. And that anytime this happens in any of the series where there's like an opposing thing like this, it looks dumb to me. I fucking hate it. So I really hated this part until she fucking shocked it out of the air. And then I was like, holy shit. Like, that actually caught me off guard in a way that I was like, that was dope. That was really cool. Also, she just fucking murdered Chewbacca. But like, we find out that she didn't. But like, that realization of this is stupid to holy fuck to she murdered her fucking friend. Really good.
So one of the other problems I think with this movie is that it doesn't have balls. Like,
true.
Why are you gonna show her murder Chewbacca if you're literally gonna bring him back in?
And where's the stakes of C-3PO losing his memory if he's going to get it back? Yep, I agree with you.
It's just like no balls.
So this is going to be maybe kind of mean. That's J.J. Abrams. He kind of doesn't have balls when he makes stuff. I don't know if you've noticed. He's very safe.
No, totally.
Yeah. It's
just one other thing that's annoying on top of everything else that's wrong with this movie. It's like, it's grating in the final it's more grating in the final chapter of a trilogy than in the beginning of it.
Yeah, I agree for sure. This is why I think so for better, again, this is kind of why my like thesis statement at the beginning is I fucking hated Rian Johnson's version of the movie, but like that is his movie, you know? Yeah. This like he took some chances and I didn't like them, but they were interesting and different. I like a lot of the stuff in here, but not really because it didn't go far enough and it's kind of safe in a way that's boring. So like it's this weird like, do I want something that I don't really like but is interesting, or do I want something that's like fun but dumb? But in the bad way dumb, I should say. Like not the good dumb. And that's kind of where I'm at. I think the sequel trilogy in general is really bad. Like the more I think about it and more I talk about it, I kind of hate it. Because even The Force Awakens, which I really liked when it came out, the reason I like it is because it's A New Hope.
Yeah.
Right? So like...
So I'm... Yeah. Like I just like Rian Johnson's movie. I like that movie. I think it has problems. It's very inconsistent, but the high points win it out for me. So I like that movie. That's where I am. I like that movie.
In general,
Solo was okay. Rogue One is a bad script, but the ending fight scene makes up for it.
I mean, in general,
where I am with these movies.
In general, the reason why I think we all come to Star Wars at this point is to see what the one or two cool looking parts are, and they've all had that. Like this one has a few of the cool looking parts as well.
I don't think there's anything in this movie that's as cool as the Empire arriving in Rogue One or Holdo's the Holdo maneuver in Rise of Skywalker.
The Holdo maneuver specifically
compares. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought we were going to get something with the fleet of Star Destroyers, but they're visually very. They just stay in formation the whole time. Like it's just not. There's nothing that interesting that happens there. Like the most compelling part of that whole sequence to me was when they're like, why can't we shut off their speeders? Because they don't have speeders and they're fucking running on horses. It's so fucking stupid, but it's fun.
Yeah, I thought
like
that
the
part's
highlight
fine.
of that battle.
I really do like the overall design of, I can't remember the name of the planet, Exegol or whatever, the Sith home planet. I kind of like in general just how like there's like this weird storm going on at all times and it's dark and shitty. Like I like how that looks. And then I realized the reason I like how it looks is because it looks like it's from Destiny, and I like the game Destiny. I think that's a good video game. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's not a whole lot more to say about that. I think also, I will say, I'm kind of starting to grasp at straws here because there are still things I do like about it, but they're kind of very small things. I like seeing a like arena of just like shitty Sith is kind of fun. Just like basically like your working class Sith. Just like
Uh-huh.
getting off of work for the day, going to go see the like crowning of the new empress or whatever, basically, and then maybe going
Yeah.
home to the wife or something. Like I
Yeah, that
really
was
like.
very. That just really reminded me of the Final Fantasy VII with all the numbers, all the Sephiroth clones going to the North Pole.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of wish it had shown
uh,
like any face of them just to show that they're like a
mhm.
little different or whatever, but they only showed hoods because they're cheap.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow. Yeah.
I can only go on about other things I did like. So I didn't like how like BB-8 doesn't do anything except try to create another toy for them to sell.
That thing was weird because
Yeah,
they really wanted you to treat it like a dog or think it was a dog, and it's not. It's a droid, first of all. But the way it like shies away from people and she's like, "Oh, you've been mistreated" or whatever. It almost seems like a rape victim or something. Like how skittish. I don't like it.
well, it's an abuse victim, and it's just not.
Yeah. I don't like that though. I don't like that a
I
droid
don't.
has abuse victim qualities.
Yeah. I also like this is a toy that they made a shit ton of before the movie was out. It's like I've seen this design everywhere.
Oh,
And I'm
have
just
you?
like, it's not a good design. Like, this isn't BB-8. This thing doesn't look interesting, and I don't care about it really. And so
Yeah.
when it shows up in the movie, all I can see is a marketing device, and it's weird. I don't get it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work the way a Baby Yoda works.
Baby Yoda just works though, for sure.
Yes. Uh-huh. Then
Um
there's this one line that really stands out to me as like a clear example of them overwriting things
okay.
when Finn yells at Poe and says, "No, you're not like Leia." And there's no thing before that to set up that you would even compare them.
Right.
It's clearly alluding to him taking over as general after she dies, which is not a thing anyone knows about. But like that's the only reason that line is there. It
Right.
has no other purpose. And that's like the whole interaction in a scene. And I
Yeah.
and like that's it's really bad dialogue writing. And it's like these actors have so much chemistry just when they're in their physical presence. And to see them like wasted with this garbage dialogue that like ruins
Kind of a
moments,
bummer. Mm-hmm.
it bums me out.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Yeah. I so I really like the I can't remember her name now. The character that like helps Poe by giving her the like little puck to infiltrate the ship. I can't remember
Yeah,
her
she was
name.
dope.
She's dope. She looks stupid though. Holy shit. Her suit is real dumb and her helmet is real dumb, but I really
I
like
don't
her.
get why they only show her eyes.
I don't get
I
why
don't
either,
don't understand.
but it just there's this there's this weird problem I have with this movie of it really seems like they want to pair people up. So we got to keep the black people together, right? So we need to get a black woman in for the black guy. We need
Yeah.
to get like a weird white roguish girl for the white rogue dude.
Yeah. I mean, we have to make sure people know Poe and Finn are into ladies. That's important.
Yeah, that's super important. But not too important
And then
because we're gonna have two random women kissing at the end, just to show that
well,
like we're still, we're still cool.
that's the token background characters are allowed to be gay because they don't matter.
Oh, yeah. And then we have to make sure that the two main characters kiss before one dies.
Yeah, right before one dies. One resurrects the other, then they kiss, then dies.
What is the obsession with pairing people up? You know what was super dope? When Rey and Finn like were friends and hanging out, and Poe was hanging out with them too, and they're just like chill. That was real cool.
It's
You know what
also
isn't
like
cool?
a
Kissing
misunderstanding
Kylo
of.
Ren.
It's also like a misunderstanding of fan culture
Totally.
because like part of it, like if you just leave all that shit open, then fans can do whatever they want with those characters.
Yeah, what's
Like you're
the term again?
why are you?
I ship it, I think is what the
Yeah.
kids say. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They'll do the work for you,
Like
don't worry.
and they'll do the work anyway, but it's
Yeah.
just like why are you wasting time in your movie doing this stuff when you're doing it badly? Like Star Wars has always been bad at romance.
Yeah.
Like it's good at these characters are already together. We did the romance off screen with Leia and Han. Like that's the most effective one by far, and it's because we didn't see any courtship.
Actually, the other part I liked is when the memory of or ghost of or whatever Han is talking to Ben, and like Ben like obviously can't tell his father that he killed like I love you or whatever, or miss you or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he has the famous line and he's just like I know or whatever. I thought that was really good. That was on point of like why isn't all the writing like this? Like I know he wants to be fan servicey. That is the perfect way to do it, right? Like keep the characters real that we all love or whatever. Give them their moment and then maybe try something new for Christ's sakes. Like fuck. You literally didn't have to throw another Skywalker down a pit.
Oh man, he had to. It's the only way to make that joke that he stole from that Batman movie work.
Ugh. Yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, though, I guess like my final thoughts on it is I still had some fun in it. I don't think it's a complete waste of time. I mean, no more so than the other two movies in the sequel trilogy, anyway. So like that's why I kind of thought like it's probably about a 4 out of 10 for me. I don't know that I would ever watch it again for whatever that's worth. But like if it was on TV and like halfway through or something, I might sit down and like watch a little bit. I thought it's totally fine. It's just annoying that it didn't go as far as maybe I felt a finale should have and wasn't paced in the way that I would have liked. Are my like two major problems with it. Oh, also the fact that at the very end she's like, "My name's Rey Skywalker." It's like, no, it's not, bitch. That's not your name. Like you just took it. You are not. Oh,
This is mine now. I made this.
I think that just kind of like sums up how J.J. Abrams feels about maybe Star Wars in general, right? Like he really, that moment, it was obvious before. That moment sealed is like he wanted her to be a Skywalker so fucking bad. When Rian Johnson did that shit of like you're a nobody or whatever, and like you're not a Skywalker, I think he probably shit himself. Like I think he saw that and was just like, no, my baby girl, she was always supposed to be more special or something. Like, there's something about that really bothered me. I don't know.
Man, I find this movie utterly disposed. Like there's nothing good I take away from this movie. There's nothing I'm gonna take with me from it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas at least, Rise of Skywalker, there were some moments that I liked that I will take with me. Like the Holdo maneuver. I like the Yoda shit. There was no Yoda in this movie. Clearly a worse movie.
It is kind of weird that they didn't at least like try a Yoda thing.
Just his voice.
I kind of like seeing
that bad scene.
I kind of liked seeing Mark Hamill again, though.
I found it hilarious that it opens with him catching a lightsaber.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Also, then there's like the flippant line about the Holdo maneuver. It's just like, what? Why do you have to like respond to every fucking little thing? Like, calm the fuck down.
There were a few things. Yeah, I can't remember. There's probably a list online of like obvious responses that are called like obvious call outs, but like there were
Also,
a few
like,
things.
The explanation for Leia giving up her Jedi training is completely different than what was given in Last Jedi. Like
What was it in
they
Last
gave
Jedi?
it, it was because of Han that she gave it up
Oh, mm-hmm.
in that one.
And in this, it's the fact that her fucking kid would.
That she had a fucking premonition about
Yeah,
literally what happened.
yeah, weird.
Why would like because also in before the movies it was established that like she was into Luke training Ben, so that makes that weird.
Yeah,
That makes that really weird.
there's a lot of things about this that are really weird.
No, this is we didn't have a plan, and it just feels really hastily put together and with like spiteful intentions towards. It's like such a hard reaction to the people that didn't like it, like
Yeah,
it's just it's a response in a way it didn't need to be. You could have just done something different.
yeah,
Like a lot of like I read a lot of comic books and there's plenty of garbage stories in comic books. But some of my favorite stuff is when writers take shit that's terrible and like weave it into gold. Like
yeah.
find a way to make it good. Like find something in it that they connect to or something. This is the opposite of that, where you're just like, this is stupid, this is stupid, this is stupid.
It's kind of just lazy.
Like, it's yeah. And
Yeah,
it's just and this movie doesn't have its own core. It doesn't really bring anything to the table else. It's just that. It doesn't have its own thing. It doesn't have an idea.
mm-hmm.
It's empty. And so I feel empty about it.
Sure.
Like, that was an empty movie. And like I'll watch whatever Disney Plus show they make about these characters. That could be good. Like I like these characters. This
Yeah.
just feels like a bad chapter about them.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a conclusion to me at all. Because there's nothing that like Palpatine was there, but like when he's coming back from the dead, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna quote Watchmen here, nothing ever ends. Like, why would he not be able to come back again? Like, why is this the climactic showdown? Why was this balancing the Force out at all?
Yeah. I don't
Like,
know.
honestly, one of the things I thought was gonna happen was like Rey rejecting the Jedi as an idea and like Skywalkers as a thing instead that has like less fucked up in the way Jedi were.
Yeah.
Like a new way to approach dealing with the Force that's less like fucked up.
Yeah, because I mean, Luke wasn't really a Jedi in that way either. Yeah, for sure.
Like they care about people and have emotions, like not the Jedi way.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. They're so old when they get trained. God, what oldies? Fucking boomers.
Yeah. Okay, boomer. Exactly. I'll have one more closing thought actually. In a world where like at one day I want to have specifically a daughter, I really like seeing like good female characters.
Yeah.
I hate that Rey's one weakness is actually her hidden strength. I hate that. Her one flaw is that she's a Palpatine, but that's also why she's the most powerful being on. Like, I fucking hate that she doesn't have a flaw. I hate it. And when they give her one, it's her hidden power.
Yeah.
Oh, that shit drives me nuts. And it's too bad too, because I really like Rey as a character. I just hate that she does everything so fucking perfectly. I wish she would fuck up, you know? Just fuck up once or twice. But she's so fucking perfect. Ugh. I have a list here that says the 20 worst parts of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Do you want to quickly go through this and see what we think as a wrap up? Okay. Okay, number 1. 1,000 Death Stars. Late in the movie, it's revealed a massive fleet of Star Destroyers that Emperor Palpatine pulled out of the ice on Exegol at the beginning of the movie was equipped with Death Star lasers. The reveal is made when one of them blows up a planet for no particular reason. The Resistance folks then briefly huddle up and decide that probably all those ships can do that. That seems like an illogical conclusion to draw, because that would mean the bad guys have an entire fleet of Death Stars, which would easily be the most ludicrous thing that has ever happened in a Star Wars movie. But since the issue was never mentioned again, we aren't sure what other conclusion we could come to.
I don't know about the editorializing that writer made there, but yeah, they had a fleet of Star Destroyers that had planet-destroying cannons on them.
Yeah.
Like, JJ only knows how to play the hits.
Yep.
I already did bigger Death Star. Now I don't know why he didn't just like make them all Death Stars though.
Let's do 1,000 Death Stars. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All the Death Stars.
Number 2, the Rebel fleet from nowhere. To challenge the Death Stars, the Resistance launches an attack on Exegol with only Corellian corvette, like one single fighter squadron and one carrier ship full of troops. Fortunately for them, Lando spent a couple hours flying around the galaxy, casually assembling the biggest fleet we've ever seen in these movies. So this isn't one of the dumbest things, I think. I think that's one of the better parts of the movie, honestly.
Yeah.
Especially since it was so the setup in all of these movies, including episode 8, is that hope is the only thing that will like take down the oppression once and for all. And that's in all of these. So the fact that there's actually a return in this, I disagree. This is actually one of the better parts of the movie, to show that a whole bunch of like dudes with fucking ships and some guns are showing up to fight.
Yeah. I think the editing there could have been better before that happened. Like, I didn't actually know where the fuck Lando and the Millennium Falcon were. Honestly, I fucking, whenever they said if he was leaving, I missed that. So I was like, wait, what?
Oh, really? Yeah, no. They do explain what he's doing, but it's not very well.
So I kind of get just, I think the editing's bad there, but no, that's a good idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like people showing up in their fucking personal ships to
I like that.
Help out. That's literally like a thing that happened in World War II or whatever. People showed up with their boats to ferry off everyone.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Dunkirk.
Yep. This one I do agree with. Number 3, the Emperor returns before the movie starts. There's a lot of creative decisions on this movie I can't begin to understand, and the most confusing of those is the decision to have Emperor Palpatine make his big return to the galactic stage between movies. How do you bring back a dead character and not even let us see the characters reacting to that revelation as it happens? This one actually makes me mad. If you're going to cram the whole trilogy of stories in one movie, you still have to start at the beginning. That's pretty funny, though, like when it's put that way. It's like, hey, you remember like the biggest villain ever? Yeah, in between the things we're watching, he's just there. So stupid.
It's real fucking rough. And I don't want to even if you're gonna say starting with like that, it's before the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like all you have to do is like set up a fucking like montage, like a story showing how he survived, or like just show him surviving.
Yeah. Ugh. Number 4, Rey's the Emperor's granddaughter. The climax of the Skywalker saga was about 2 Palpatine family members fighting each other. Incredible. That's really funny.
Like I don't think Rey being Palpatine's granddaughter is the worst idea. Sure. I think they just like the way it plays out in these movies that it's revealed is bad, but like it didn't have to be.
Sure. 5. Luke and Leia knew about Rey's lineage the whole time. This is just a confusing bit. When did they learn this important fact? Why have they never done anything with that tidbit of key info? There's a lot of weird ramifications in their possession of this knowledge, and the Rise of Skywalker has no interest in exploring any of them. Yeah. There's nothing more to say. He said it in that.
It's like, I mean, it's like kind of a throwback to so what I told you was true from a certain point of view, but it's nowhere near that good. It feels really sloppy, and it's like, no, we knew the whole time. Yeah, we knew the whole time.
And maybe to like even a lesser extent, when Luke finds out Vader's his father, and Obi-Wan's ghost is like, yes, we knew all along. He's like, why didn't you tell me? Well, because technically your father died the day he became Vader. What?
Yeah.
Like, fuck you, dude. That's not cool.
Yeah. Obi-Wan is a dick.
Totally. Number 6. Leia died for no reason. They decided to kill off Leia in the strangest and low-key way by calling out through the Force. It took Luke physically projecting himself across the galaxy and doing a lightsaber fight before the effort killed him. How weak are we supposed to think Leia is? I'm a little more lenient on this for a bunch of reasons, specifically that Carrie Fisher died.
Yep.
That's why I'm a little more okay on this.
It's a weird choice that she doesn't her body doesn't disappear until Kylo Ren or till Ben dies.
I guess because like
they
the
put her
Force
under that
finally
sheet,
accepted her.
Like, I don't fucking like then. Like, it's just I don't.
The cover charge to join for your soul to join in the party of the Force is making sure
we can't let you in. Your son's too.
You have too much baggage.
Gets a little gooder.
Yeah, exactly. I like this idea that there's a cover charge for the afterlife. I mean, people have always thought that. That's why they put coins on the eyes.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
Same thing. It's just weird.
7. The Knights of Ren. Late in the film, Kylo Ren is forced to fight his former bros, the Knights of Ren, in order to earn his redemption. It's a powerful scene. The culmination of his character arc stretching back 3 films is what we'd say if the Knights had like any role before the rise of Skywalker. They're in this trilogy for less than 5 minutes. None of them speak, have any personality. They don't even use lightsabers. They basically existed only so we know the origin of Kylo Ren's dorky last name, and we saw them up close. It turns out they dress like the corniest new metal band of 1996.
I mean, that just felt like that they felt very on par with this new trilogy. Here are these characters that we're going to market, and they're not going to do anything in this movie.
Yep, pretty much.
That was, as soon as they were announced, I'm like, they're not going to matter at all.
Number 8. This goes to what you're saying, kind of. So Rey kills Palpatine and then dies. Kylo Ren climbs out of the hole he fell into and uses the Force to revive her corpse. They can just resurrect people now. Okay.
It's just a thing.
Mm-hmm. Number 9. The kiss. So Rey's alive again, and the first thing she does is make out with Kylo Ren. They haven't had an ounce of romantic chemistry in these movies, but some Star Wars nerds ship them, so I guess they had to do it.
Look, they FaceTimed a lot.
They did. They
were internet boyfriend, girlfriend.
Honestly, she probably like understood. They probably understood each other more than like her with anybody else for the obvious reasons of, you know,
they
trying to kill each
had
other.
A strong emotional connection.
Yeah, that's why their life force was being drained to feed Palpatine, because apparently that's also, a thing.
I think they're related.
Yeah, probably. I think you're right, actually.
Particularly in a world where Rey turns out to be Palpatine. Like, if you're going the route of everything is Palpatine.
Yeah.
This movie is definitely living in the universe where Palpatine created Darth Vader.
Yep.
He's responsible for everything that matters.
Yeah, it's true. That's weird. I don't like that.
Nope. I don't like that at all.
The death. Immediately after this kiss, Ben rolls over and dies, apparently having given all his life force to Rey to bring her back to life in what was supposed to be the film's most dramatic and emotionally poignant scene. At that precise moment, in our screening, the entire theater burst out into hysterical laughter. Okay. 11. The Force can do literally anything. All wounds are trivial now because Force users can easily heal them. If they're too late and the person died, they can just bring them back from the dead. Need to ship a package? Just use the Force to teleport it. When I have a lightsaber duel with somebody 100 miles away, the Force has online multiplayer. Rey's just a god now and most powerful being who ever lived, but Leia died from yelling.
Yeah.
That's a little
Flying through
throwaway.
space, easy.
Yeah.
Talking to someone from very far away, very hard.
It's not. Yeah, it's not like we're doing it right now.
Yeah,
And that's just called the internet.
The way I would describe it feels very much like the way the Force gets used in like Legends stuff or like video games, rather than the way the Force gets used in the original movies. Like it's making it more active magic. You're like too much thinking about, oh, if you can do this, then you can do this, rather than like these characters have a spiritual understanding of this Force and they have certain powers or whatever. Like it's a different approach, and they just go all the way with it. Kind of, except not in like an interesting way.
Yeah.
Just in like they turn the volume up because JJ doesn't have any original ideas.
Yep.
Or isn't willing to do original ideas, because one time he wrote like a Superman script and it got on the internet and fanboys didn't like it because it did dumb bullshit
and it hurt his feelings.
Tries. Yep. Yes. So now he never tries anymore.
I mean, I've been listening to a therapist that talks to people online recently a lot, and that's one of the things he's saying is that, like, I don't know. This doesn't have anything to do with what we'll talk about this at some other time. Remind me. Anyways, number 12, Chewie died, but actually he didn't. This whole sequence is strange. Chewie gets captured by the First Order when he's like 30 yards from the rest of our heroes. Then Rey accidentally blows up the ship they were taking him away on. Except actually Chewie was on a different but identical ship because the Rise of Skywalker wanted to pull a stupidly manipulative misdirect.
If you're gonna kill Chewie, kill Chewie. Like, or don't kill Chewie. Come on.
Yeah. 13. C-3PO got his memory wiped, but then got it back. This is all shit we talked about in this episode, or in this podcast, actually. This is
funny because
this is great.
They like built a trailer based around that.
Yeah.
And it's just a joke.
It's too bad, too, because that moment where they're like, what are you doing? He's like, just taking a look at my friends one last time or whatever. It's like, that's sweet, but it doesn't matter. Because they literally just said earlier that R2 has a backup of your memory. So, whatever.
I mean, I did like some of the jokes that came out from that.
Sure.
Meeting people for the first time. It's like, oh, my first laser.
Yeah, or he's like, this is my old friend or whatever. The guy he first met after being wiped. There's some cute stuff there.
Yeah.
14.
The part is that he has this secret programming that him translate Sith, even though he can translate. That's the stupid part there.
I swear to God,
to make that happen, where like they had then they have, and that memory wiping is the way this has to. Like, how contrived that whole part is the bad part. His memory accidentally being wiped would have been a fine joke.
14. Poe has Han Solo's backstory now. One of the 57 new planets we visit in The Rise of Skywalker is Kijimi, where we meet Poe's ex-girlfriend, who reveals Poe was a spice runner before becoming a resistance fighter, because for some reason they needed a new Han, I guess.
It's also like say, why don't you run the spice runner? I
really like that part though, where it's like, you ran spice. He's like, you were a stormtrooper. It's like, you ran spice. You were a scavenger. Like, that was kind of funny. That was a cute scene.
I mean, scavenger is not really a dig. It's just like, yeah, she had a job. I don't know.
She had a job.
Stormtrooper was the one that worked. It's like, you were a stormtrooper. Come on.
I just like that moment because, again, it's those characters interacting and they have chemistry.
Yes.
So it's good.
True.
It's one of the few parts where they interact together in like a good way. Okay, 15. General Hux. Speaking of criminally underdeveloped characters, Hux is revealed to be a mole within the First Order, feeding information to the Rebellion 2 movies after his Reichstag speech. on the Starkiller base because he hates Kylo Ren more than he loves the First Order. And then literally the next scene after we learn this, he's unceremoniously killed by his commanding officer who announces we found the mole. Hux joins Boba Fett and Captain Phasma in the pantheon of Star Wars bad guys whose deaths are pointless as it turns out the characters themselves were. At least he got more lines than Rose Tico.
I don't know. They were. I found that funny. I really liked when he was like, "I'm the spy."
Yeah.
I like that line. I liked when he got shot in the leg.
All that stuff was good, and then they killed him instantly.
And then they just killed him off, and it's like, well,
bummer.
I guess you didn't have anything else to do with Hux.
Yep.
Oh well.
16. The Force told those stormtroopers to rebel. Finn meets a woman named John. Okay, her name is Janna, apparently. I forgot that completely. Okay. Who was also a former First Order stormtrooper who had been stolen from her parents when she was a kid and then rebelled as an adult. They have this fun moment where they talk about how they decided to rebel because they had this weird feeling that they should, and they decide the feeling was the Force, not, their conscience or guilt about helping a fascist government. They'd have happily done state-sponsored murder had the Force not pinked them, I guess. Yeah. True. 17. Ghost Luke. So Luke died and is a ghost, but he can still pick up physical objects with his non-physical hand. And he can still use the Force to lift his X-Wing out of the ocean. Sounds like being dead is all upside. So I want to say I really like that part because he finally did it.
He did the thing.
After all these years of Yoda telling him, do or do not, there is no try, he did.
He did.
So
finally.
And really impressively, because that seemed like a really high cliff. So I don't know. I thought that part was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
Also, fan service.
Shame Bray didn't get to literally do anything there, but
yeah. But fan service. That's fan service I like.
Luke got to do the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
17. Ghost Dad. Or, no, Ghost Luke, sorry. 18, we're at. Pretending Rose wasn't a main character. Congratulations, racist, sexist harassers. Your complaints were heard. That's all he put.
Uh-huh.
And here's the thing. Again, I'll say, I liked Rose, but she didn't add anything to that movie either. The fact that she got the treatment she did in this is astounding, though. Actually astounding. I would have thought maybe she'd have more than 2 lines because, she was a pretty big part of the last movie. But
yep.
JJ hates Rian Johnson, so fuck her, I guess. 19. Maz Kanata. They got the amazing Lupita Nyong'o to play maybe the most pointless character in this whole trilogy. The only thing of note she does in this movie is give Chewbacca a medal and an egregiously annoying bit of fan service.
The medal. I fucking hated the medal, but it's so fucking stupid.
Yeah. I forgot about it, honestly.
That was so ham-fisted. Look, he gets a medal in the comics. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. I forgot all about it. Oh, look at this. Number 20, the last one. Chewbacca gets a medal. I'm not sure how Maz giving Chewie a medal for no reason whatsoever is supposed to make up for his snub in the original Star Wars film. This bit feels so shameless. Yeah.
They're not giving out those medals to other people. It's just like, look, I remembered when Chewie didn't get a medal. I'll never get to make a Star Wars again. My only chance to give Chewie a medal.
I mean,
fans.
He's not right, or he's not wrong, rather. This was his only time, so he did it. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any... Oh, let's talk about the closing scene a little bit more. I thought, first of all, more fan servicey bullshit, but I kind of liked seeing her go to Tatooine and just
I like
seeing that scene.
Piece of metal and rode it down like a sleigh.
That's good. Yep, that's good shit right there.
That was cute.
Yeah, that was cute for sure.
I don't like that she buried the lightsabers there because she's just setting up a fetch quest for later. And this movie with so many fetch quests.
True.
And one of the details I really like is when she takes the books with her. It's like, no, take the things with you. Don't like leave things around for future fetch quests.
True. I also like that it showed that she built her own lightsaber. That's
Yeah,
neat.
no, that was good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because of course she did.
Yeah.
So here's the
I don't
thing.
know why Luke's green lightsaber is never a part of these movies. Why it's always Anakin's.
It must be like
Luke built
hard
a
to do or
lightsaber.
something. Yeah.
I don't fucking understand.
I don't either. It would have been really cool for that last scene with her versus Palpatine too, to have two different colored lightsabers. That would have been really neat. And like
that visual would have been better if one of them had been different.
And it would have like stuck out more of like the past and the new kind of like meeting to take this shithead down finally. Like it would have had much more impact just in a lot of different ways. But
that's not Luke's lightsaber.
But we're not the
Anakin's.
We're not the fucking movie creators, so what do we know, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
Oh, another thing I wanted to bring up, and this was weirdly kind of spoiled for me. So I read a story today while looking up stuff for Top Down Perspective, which people can listen to at topdownperspective.podbean.com, for news or whatever. And one of the news things is that Darkseid Rey's double lightsaber is like a thing you can buy. And when I read that, I was like, well, that's a spoiler for the movie I'm going to see in 5 hours.
That was
great.
That was in a trailer.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah,
I don't watch trailers for that reason. I don't want to know stuff, but that dual lightsaber is stupid as fuck and kind of awesome. Mainly the fact that it's like a flip phone for lightsabers where it just like it's double, but you can also flip it out to be like two-sided. It's really dumb. I wish they had shown a little bit more of it. Also, strangely really attracted to her as Darkseid Rey over like normal Rey.
Even when her teeth get all sharp?
Especially. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't understand why she hissed like a cat. I guess that's what the Sith do.
When you're evil, well, that's what evil ladies do. Evil ladies are cats.
That's rude. What did cats ever do to
history.
You? It's just history.
It's just, yeah. JJ only knows how to play the hits, man. Don't ask him to think about it.
It's literally all he knows how to do, for sure. So some more, I guess we should actually start with, like, we should finish off with closing thoughts here. This is, I'm just trying to remember. I think 3 things came out this year for Star Wars. This is the 3rd best Star Wars thing this year. I will say that video game and that Mandalorian are better. Was there other Star Wars stuff this year? I don't actually know. I think those skins for Fortnite might be better. That's real value.
A lot of Baby Yoda memes.
That doesn't count, unfortunately.
Star Wars is at its best as a vehicle for memes. That is its true destiny.
You're actually right, and that reminded me I was going to grab a screenshot from this and meme something. Or try to, because I'm not a kid, so I don't get the memes like they do, but I'm going to try.
Oh, okay. So you can make a meme?
A meme, yeah. Exactly. I don't know. Like, I know that there's nothing of substance here, but kind of like fast food, I still had an okay time with it. I just wouldn't recommend it, I don't think. That's probably my final thought. That's
a long 3 hours.
It felt pretty long. That's true.
The other thing I will say is I give Rian Johnson the last laugh because his movie from this really highly recommend Knives Out. That movie's awesome.
Yeah, no, he seems like he's better when like he's not having to do something with like I don't know, like this giant cult following behind it, maybe. Like when he just gets to do whatever he wants, he seems like he would be really good. And weirdly, JJ is usually better when he does something with a cult following because he plays things safe, which is what makes like his stuff usually pretty decent when he does them. So this was just such a fucking misstep for JJ, but I think it's also because he was kind of set up to fail in a lot of ways. I don't know. It's weird. I will say, I don't think I'll be thinking about this movie like very much after tonight. So
I'm excited to go back to filling my Star Wars brain with Mandalorians instead.
Oh, and you still have the game to play too, which like isn't amazing, but you know, when you finish that game, we have to talk about that ending. That ending is real good.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. All right. So that'll do it. That was an hour and 20 minutes. That's half the time it took to see the movie, roughly, to talk about it. And I feel at peace. May the Force be with you.
It was better than Dark Phoenix.
Oof. I think that'll be another time. That'll be an episode another time.